Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is Network System Administration Lab Test, and I'm Fadlullah with my partner Amanullah. So the first question we're going to answer is we have these three networks, and then we have to calculate the network address and number of allowed hosts. So the first one is this network, and what we have to do is first we have to convert this to binary, and when we do, we have this network address, and this is the in binary, and then we do it for the subnet mask, which is /28, which means we take 28 bits of binary, 28 bits of ones, and then 4 bits of 0. And when we do a AND of this and or of this and this, and it will give us our new network address, which is this 10.1.1.2.7.0, and the broadcast address is, we check, since this is the bits for our host, we make it 1111, and then when we do, this will be our broadcast address, and when we convert it to binary, we will be having this, which will be our broadcast address. And to get our usable host, since we have 4 bits, then we take 2 to the power of 4, which will be 16, and then we have to subtract 2 for the network address and the broadcast address, which will give us with 14 usable hosts. And now for the second subnet, we do the same too. We convert it to binary, which we take the subnet, but this time around we're going to take 27 bits and the rest will be 0. 27 bits of ones and the rest will be 0. When we do an AO of this and this, we will have our network address. This will be our network address, and this will be our broadcast address. We take our 5 bits of ones and 5 bits for the broadcast address, and we make them all ones, and this will be our network address. And we do it for the usable host too. Same goes for /26. We take 26 ones for the network address. We do 1 O, we'll have our network address, and then we will take this 8 bits and we'll make them 11111. 11. When we do that 11, then this will be our broadcast address. Converting it to decimal, we have this, and our usable host will be 2 to the power of 8 bits, which will be 64. We subtract 2 since we have reserved one address for the broadcast, one for the network, and then we will have 62. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to configure our DHCP server to give out addresses to the users on the network. So we will give a maximum list time of 3600, converted 60 times 60 times 60 minutes. This will give us some hours, and then this will be any host from on this subnet. This means any request coming from this gateway, and this subnet should use these options for the IP address to give it its IP address and details. So the first one is the router. This will be the default router for that request, for that user. This will be his own gateway, and then this will be his subnet, and this will be the domain name server he's going to be using. It can be 1 or 2, any number of domain name servers, IP addresses, and then any hosts, any request of any IP address coming from this subnet will be given an IP address to use of this range between 10.11.237.140 to this 2.180. And then the second thing here, so we have a host named temp, and we want him automatically, when he requests, he should be given this IP address, this fixed IP address. So the name of the host is temp, and his MAC address is this, and then automatically whenever he requests, this will be his fixed IP address. So here we are. We want to install the LAMP package, which consists of Apache, PHP, and MySQL. Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Then the first thing, we have to install them individually. So to install them, first we need to connect our internet. So first let's get our IP address. So the next thing we need to do is we need to install it using yum install. Let's get our So right now we're trying to install the Apache server first. Then we'll install the MySQL and the PHP. Okay, we have it already installed. So now the next thing we need to do is we need to install MySQL. So we will sudo install db. Okay, and then now we're going to install our PHP MySQL. Alright, it is already installed too. But for Apache, we need to start it. We need to give it to make it listed on a certain IP address on a certain port. So we need to edit the configuration file, which is located in the httpd. So we need to add this line inside our file server name, and we need to add the IP address and the port. So it will listen on this IP address and on this port. Disable. So the next thing we want to do is we want to disable our default firewall and use the IP tables, and also we want to disable all connections, close all ports except port 80 for our Apache and port 22 for our SSH. So the first thing we have to do is we have to disable the default firewall, which is firewall D. So sudo disable. I think it's already disabled, so we have to add the rules. To add the rules, we have the IP table. Input IP TCP. Okay, I think my IP tables is the version is, I think I am using a different version, but this is a general input. So if you want to do, let's say we want to accept outgoing connection, so we just say output TCP port 22 accept, and if you want to do for H is for HTTP, we make it port 80, and we can change this to either incoming connection or outgoing, depending on our rules. And then finally, we shouldn't forget to enable our IP tables. Sudo systemctl tables. I think my IP tables version is a bit, I had a problem downloading it, but these are the basic syntax. So now I'm going to mount a new hard drive on my computer. So first I've mounted it already. I've switched off my virtual machine and I've added a new hard disk. So now I need to use fdisk to make a new partition on the disk. So I will name of my disk is SDB. So I will make a new partition. To be the primary partition 1, first sector, last sector, yes. Okay, and then I will just quit. I'll just save and quit. I'll write the data to my df table. I'll write the partition table. Then the next thing I will do is I will make a file system. from this partition that I've created, from this new partition that I've created, which is SDP1. Alright, now that I have made my file system, it is ready to be mounted, and I will mount it in the directory /home. Alright, it has been mounted. Alright, now I've restarted my computer, so since I didn't add it on an NFS tab, it will not be added automatically. And let's assume that my drive had a problem. If I want to run a diagnostic on it, I will use the F disk first, but I need to unmount it, so I will unmount /dev/sdb1. Okay, it was not mounted in the first instance. So the second thing is I need to edit my /etc/fs, and then here I will add my own entry. I'll say /dev/sdb1. It should use the defaults, so it should be mounted in /home, and then it should be use the xvf, and then default 0, 0. This one, that's one. So next time I shut down and I restart, automatically this device will be mounted. So now I will run my diagnostic on this disk. I will have disk /dev/sdb1 extra functionality, fix partition order. Order is correct already, so no need, and then I can write. And if I want to check some more details too, I can print the raw data, change number of cylinders, move data also based on this expert command.